Tulsa King Season 3 Episode 3 turns the whole game on its head. This episode isn't just about revenge anymore, it's about survival. The heat in Tulsa is rising, and Dwight finally realizes he's not the only one pulling strings. The walls are closing in from every side, Musso's watching him. Jeremiah's waiting for his next move, and his own crew? They're cracking under pressure. This is the point where one wrong decision could burn down everything Dwight built. And Episode 3 makes sure we feel every second of that pressure. The story kicks off right where the last episode left us, inside the Monteague distillery, where silence hangs heavier than smoke. Dwight's staring at the empty racks where their bourbon used to be. The same stash Cole Dunmere stole right from under his nose. The crew stands still, Tyson, Grace, Bodie, Bigfoot, all waiting for Dwight to explode. But he doesn't, he just stares, calm but deadly, before saying in that cold voice, "They think they can rob me and walk away." That's where they messed up. You can tell he's not thinking about calling the cops or talking it out, he's thinking about war. Joanne tries to reason with him, reminding Dwight that Musso's already sniffing around too much. If Dwight goes off script now, he'll be inviting both the Dunmeres and the feds to his doorstep. But Dwight's not hearing any of that. He's done playing defense. He tells the crew they're shifting focus, bottling can wait, because the next few days are about sending a message. He splits them into teams, but you can feel the tension. Tyson's standing a little too quiet. The guilt from losing the stash is written all over him, and Dwight notices it. Even if he doesn't say anything, then comes a call from Musso. That same calm but fake friendly tone he always uses. He tells Dwight they've got unfinished business and that Dexter Deacon, the man with ties to explosives, has gone underground. Musso wants a meeting. Dwight doesn't trust him, but he also knows refusing Musso will only make things worse. So he agrees, but before leaving he tells Joanne, "If I'm not back by night, you know what to do." It's that kind of line that makes you realize how deep Dwight's paranoia has gotten. He's expecting betrayal, he just doesn't know from who yet. Musso picks him up in one of those blacked-out sedans, trying to play the mentor role again. He talks about building trust and staying patient, but Dwight can see through it. He knows Musso's trying to use him to get close to Deacon, or maybe even test his loyalty. The whole car ride feels like a silent chess match, Musso asking questions Dwight won't answer. Dwight making sure he doesn't give him an inch. Finally, Musso slips up and mentions Deacon in a way that sounds personal, like there's some old score between them. That's when Dwight realizes this isn't official business at all, this is Musso's personal vendetta. And somehow, Dwight's right in the middle of it. Meanwhile, back in Tulsa, things are spiraling. Mitch is trying to keep Cleo out of trouble, but she's restless. She's talking about Jeremiah again, saying maybe Dwight's taking too long with his revenge. Mitch tries to shut it down, reminding her that going rogue already cost them once. But Cleo's got that fire, she's not the type to sit still while someone like Jeremiah walks free. You can feel that tension between loyalty and impulse, the same kind. That keeps getting Dwight's crew in deeper trouble. At the distillery, Bigfoot shows up with bad news. One of their trucks never made it back. No driver, no bourbon, just a wrecked tire trail leading into the woods. Dwight's jaw tightens when he hears it. That's not random, that's a message. Someone's still coming for him. And even though Cole's name keeps popping up, Dwight's gut tells him it's bigger than that. He's starting to believe someone from the inside is feeding information to the other side. When Dwight returns from his meeting with Musso, he calls everyone in. The atmosphere's heavy, nobody's talking. He looks around and says, "From this point, we move like ghosts. No calls, no chatter. Everyone watches everyone." It's the kind of order that lets you know he's back in control, but also that paranoia is eating him alive. Tyson tries to speak up, wanting to explain himself. But Dwight cuts him off, saying, "Save it for when I ask." That silence after those words hits hard. It's like the crew finally realizes Dwight's not the same man he was when they started. But while Dwight's tightening his grip, trouble's already on its way. Late that night, Tyson sneaks out with Bodie, determined to fix the mess he created. He tells Bodie they'll hit the East Docks, find Cole's crew, and take back what's theirs. Bodie hesitates, but Tyson's too far gone. He wants redemption, even if it kills him. And you can tell, this move is about to open a whole new wave of chaos that even Dwight won't see coming. By the end of this first stretch, Tulsa feels like a ticking bomb. Dwight's enemies are closing in, his allies are making reckless choices, and every secret that's been buried is about to resurface. Episode 3 doesn't waste a second reminding us, in this city, loyalty has an expiration date, and Dwight's running out of time to figure out who's standing with him and who's waiting to stab him in the back. As Episode 3 moves deeper, things start shifting fast, everyone's making moves, and Dwight can feel control slipping through his fingers. The morning after Tyson's little solo mission, Dwight wakes up to a call from Grace. Her voice is shaky and that alone tells him something's wrong. She says Tyson and Bodhi never came back last night. Dwight doesn't waste a second. He's out the door before Grace can finish. The scene that follows is tense, no music, no noise. Just Dwight walking into the Montague distillery where the crew's already gathered. Everyone's faces tell the same story, fear. Dwight doesn't even sit down. He just says, "Find them, now." Joanne starts trying to call every connection they have on the street, but Tulsa's gone quiet. Nobody wants to talk. It's like someone sent a message to stay silent. That's when Bigfoot brings in a lead. A dock worker said he saw two guys matching Tyson and Bodhi's description being dragged into a container yard near the east side. Dwight doesn't even blink. He grabs his gun, tosses his jacket on, and tells Bigfoot to follow. Joanne tries to stop him, saying they should wait and plan, but Dwight's not waiting this time. This isn't business anymore. This is personal. On the way there, Dwight starts connecting dots in his head. Musso's timing, the missing shipment, Cole's recent silence, none of it feels random. He knows Musso's playing both sides somehow. That meeting from last night wasn't about Deacon. It was about keeping Dwight busy while someone else made a move in Tulsa. Dwight might be an old-school gangster, but he's no fool. He tells Bigfoot when the feds start showing up too fast. It's because they're working with the devils they used to chase. You can see the shift. This isn't just a fight against Jeremiah or Cole anymore. Dwight's realizing this whole operation's getting deeper than street wars when they reach the docks. The yard's empty except for scattered crates and the smell of gasoline. Dwight's scanning every corner. Then he spots tire tracks leading to a row of abandoned shipping containers. He walks right up, opens the first one, nothing. The second, still nothing. But when he opens the third, the tension snaps. Tyson's inside, bruised but alive, tied up against the wall. Bodhi's lying nearby, unconscious but breathing. You can see Dwight's face change, that quiet rage, the kind that doesn't need words. He aunties Tyson and says in a low voice, "You lucky I got here before they buried you." Tyson tries to explain, saying Cole wanted information on the bourbon storage. But Dwight cuts him off. "You gave them what they wanted, didn't you?" Tyson doesn't answer. He doesn't have to. The silence says it all. Back at the distillery, Dwight calls a full lockdown. No one leaves, no one talks to outsiders. He tells Joanne to pull all the trucks off the road and keep every bottle of bourbon locked inside. Until further notice. The crew's confused. They don't know if Dwight's angry or just planning his next strike. But one look at him and they all know better than to ask questions. Dwight sits in his office, lights a cigar, and says, almost to himself, "They hit me once. I'll make sure they never get the chance again." Meanwhile, Musso's got his own plans in motion. He meets quietly with one of Jeremiah's men, trying to squeeze out information about Dwight's recent moves. He acts like it's about justice, but his eyes give away the truth. He's trying to turn this war into something that benefits him. What Musso doesn't know is that Dwight already suspects him. He's been tracking Musso's fake check-ins, noticing how every time Musso's updating Washington, something in Tulsa goes sideways. And that means only one thing: Musso's been leaking intel to the Dunmeres, maybe even funding some of their hits. The tension keeps climbing when Mitch drops by the distillery. He's shaken, saying someone broke into his bar during the night. Nothing was stolen, but a warning was left behind. A single bullet sitting on the counter with Montague carved into the shell. Dwight picks it up, looks at it for a long second, then says, "They want me to know it's personal." Fine. Mitch tries to convince him to wait, to play it smart, but Dwight's already in revenge mode. That bullet didn't scare him, it fueled him. Meanwhile, Tyson's guilt starts turning into paranoia. He keeps hearing things, seeing shadows outside the distillery. He tells Grace someone's watching them, but Grace thinks it's just the stress. Still, Tyson can't shake it off. Late one night, he catches movement outside the fence, two men in dark coats, watching the place. When he steps closer, they vanish into the woods. He runs back inside, locks the doors, and calls Dwight. But when Dwight checks the security cameras, there's nothing. That's when he realizes someone's testing them, studying their routine, their defenses. It's no longer just attacks. It's preparation for something bigger. By the time the episode hits its midpoint, you can feel everything tightening around Dwight. Musso's lies, Cole's silence, Jeremiah's mind games. All of it's pushing him toward a breaking point. But Dwight's not the kind of man who folds under pressure. He thrives on it. Sitting in that dark office, he looks at his crew and says, "They want me boxed in. But we ain't playing defense no more." The whole room goes quiet, and that's when you realize whatever Dwight's about to do next isn't just payback. It's war. And the scariest part, he's not planning to fight fair this time. By the time the next morning hits, Tulsa feels different, colder, quieter, like the city itself is holding its breath. Dwight's not rushing his next move anymore. He's sitting at the bar inside the distillery, staring into his glass like he's seeing through it. Mitch walks in, takes one look at him, and says, "You're thinking too loud." Dwight smirks but doesn't respond. He's already 2 steps ahead in his mind. He knows this kind of silence only means one thing: his enemies are reorganizing, planning their next hit. And if they're planning, he's got to strike before they do. The crew, though, is falling apart from the inside. Tyson's trying to stay out of Dwight's way, still bruised from the container yard. Grace keeps checking on him, but he's distant. Bodie's moving slower, quieter, like he's carrying guilt too. Joanne's trying to hold things together, barking orders, managing the bourbon, making calls to keep their distributors calm. But there's a nervousness in her voice. Every time someone mentions Musso or Jeremiah, she freezes. She's starting to think this fight isn't just about territory or pride anymore. It's about survival. That afternoon, Dwight gets a call from a burner number. He answers, expecting some anonymous threat, but instead it's Clara, Armin's wife. Her voice cracks as she says he's still missing Dwight. It's been 3 days. Dwight stiffens. Armin's disappearance has been bugging him since Clara first mentioned it. But now it's starting to make sense. He asks her if she's noticed anything weird, any unfamiliar faces, any cars following her. She hesitates, then says she saw someone parked outside her house last night. Same black SUV that's been spotted near the distillery. Dwight's tone changes instantly. "You leave that house tonight. Don't pack. Don't wait. Go." The way he says it, calm but deadly serious. You can tell he knows something big is coming. As the night rolls in, Dwight gathers his people again, this time for a private meeting. No phones, no outsiders. Just his inner circle: Joanne, Bigfoot, Grace, and Mitch. Tyson's missing from the table. Dwight left him out on purpose. He's testing loyalty now, studying reactions. Dwight lays it out clear: there's a mole in Tulsa. Someone's feeding Musso and the Dunmere's everything we do. Every truck route, every shipment, every move. That's how they're staying 1 step ahead. The room goes dead silent. Everyone looks at each other, wondering who's the snake in the grass. Bigfoot swears he's clean. Grace looks defensive. Joanne stays quiet, eyes locked on Dwight. Mitch finally breaks the silence, saying, "You think it's someone in this room?" Dwight doesn't answer. He doesn't have to. That silence is its own answer. Then he says, "Until I know who's playing both sides, I'm treating everyone like a suspect." It's the kind of line that splits a team right down the middle. But that's how Dwight operates. He'd rather rule by fear than fall by trust. Not long after, Dwight gets word that Cole's been spotted at a strip club on the south side. The same one where Tyson got caught last time. He knows it's a trap, but he goes anyway. That's Dwight's way: walk right into the fire, just to see who burns first. When he gets there, Cole's sitting in the VIP booth, surrounded by new muscle. Dwight walks in alone, no backup, just that ice-cold stare that says he's not here to talk business. Cole smirks, acting like he's already won. "You came all this way for a drink, or to die?" he says, trying to sound brave. Dwight just leans forward and replies, "I came to collect." The conversation that follows isn't loud. It's controlled, almost polite, but every word drips with tension. Dwight accuses Cole of working with someone inside his operation. Cole laughs, saying he doesn't need a mole. Dwight's people are sloppy enough on their own. That hits a nerve. Dwight slams his glass down and says, "You really think you can take from me and walk around Tulsa like you own it?" Cole just smiles. "I don't think, Dwight." "I know." Before things can explode, one of Cole's men steps forward, hand on his gun. Dwight doesn't flinch. He just stares him down until the guy backs off. That's the power Dwight still has, the kind of authority that doesn't need a bullet to prove a point. After that meeting, things shift. Dwight walks out alive, but he's more certain than ever that Musso's feeding intel to the Dunmeres. Cole's words weren't random. They were bait. And Dwight knows bait when he sees it. Back at Montague, he calls in a favor from one of his old connections in Kansas. Someone who can dig into Musso's federal records without leaving a trail. He wants proof before he makes his move. Because when Dwight strikes, he doesn't miss him. Meanwhile, Tyson's paranoia finally hits a breaking point. He sneaks into Dwight's office late at night, looking for reassurance, maybe forgiveness. But instead, he finds something worse: a folder labeled internal leads inside. There are photos of every crew member, timestamps, notes, even personal info. And under Tyson's name, one word stands out: weak link. Tyson freezes. It's like the air leaves the room. He realizes Dwight's not just suspicious of everyone. He's preparing to cut people loose if he has to. Tyson quietly puts the folder back, but that one word sticks in his head. Weak link. By the end of the episode's 3rd act, everyone's playing their own secret game. Joanne's starting to dig around on her own, trying to find proof that Musso's behind the setup. Grace is hiding something too: phone calls she doesn't tell Dwight about, meetings at odd hours. Mitch is torn between helping Dwight and protecting Cleo, who's becoming unpredictable again. And Dwight, he's watching it all, saying less and seeing more. You can feel that storm tightening over Tulsa. The kind that doesn't pass without breaking everything in its path. The final moments of this section close with a chilling scene. Dwight gets a call from an unknown number. He answers and a distorted voice says, "You're late to your own funeral." The line cuts. Dwight just sits there unmoved before muttering, "Then I better bring flowers." You can tell he's not scared, he's ready. Because if episode 3 has made one thing clear, it's that Dwight Manfredi's patience has finally run out. The next morning starts with that heavy, uneasy silence, like Tulsa itself knows something bad's about to go down. Dwight wakes up before sunrise, walks out to the porch of his ranch, and just stares into the horizon. There's this stillness in his face, the kind that only comes when a man's already made peace with what he's about to do. He lights a cigarette, exhales slow, and mutters to himself, "Let's finish this." That one line feels like a storm warning, calm before the chaos. Meanwhile, inside the city, the streets are restless. Musso's crew is moving weird, too quiet for comfort. They've stopped pushing product, stopped showing up at the usual spots. It's like they vanished overnight, which only means one thing: they're preparing for something big. Dwight senses it. His instincts, the same ones that kept him alive all those years in prison, are screaming that someone's making a play. But the question is, who's going first? Over at the distillery, things are tense. Joanne's been digging around in Musso's past and finds something wild. Musso was working with federal agents 2 years ago. He cut a deal to stay out of prison by ratting out a Chicago crew. That explains how he's been untouchable all this time. But it also means something worse. Someone in Dwight's circle has been leaking info to protect Musso. Joanne doesn't tell Dwight yet. She wants proof first. But you can see it in her face, that mix of fear and anger, when she realizes this whole war might have been planned long before it even started. Then there's Tyson after finding that weak link note in Dwight's office, he's losing it. He starts avoiding Dwight, skipping meetings, even ignoring Grace's calls. He knows he's being watched and paranoia is eating him alive. At one point, he drives out to the old auto shop where Armand used to work, hoping maybe he can find a clue about where he went. But instead, he finds something else: Armand's car stripped and burned. No sign of him, just a half-melted cocaine that Tyson recognizes instantly. That's when it hits him: Armand's not missing. He's gone. And whoever did it wanted Dwight to find out. Back at Montague, Dwight calls another meeting. He's not wasting time anymore. He wants answers. He spreads out maps, photos, and phone logs showing how every hit, every ambush, every move they made was predicted. He looks each one of them dead in the eye and says, "We ain't being hunted. We're being played." Grace starts to speak, but Dwight cuts her off. "Don't tell me it's coincidence. Coincidence don't come with bullet holes." That line hits hard. You can feel the tension in the room. Everyone's wondering if this is the moment Dwight finally breaks. Then something unexpected happens. Mitch walks in with a piece of paper. "You're gonna want to see this," he says. It's a photo of Musso shaking hands with a man in a black suit, Jeremiah's bodyguard. Suddenly everything connects. The Dunmeres and Musso have been in bed together from the start. The truce, the silence, the fake peace, all part of a setup to corner Dwight. Mitch tells him the meeting in Oklahoma wasn't just about territory. It was about selling out Dwight's entire operation to the feds in exchange for immunity. That's why Musso's been untouchable. He's their puppet. Dwight doesn't react at first. He just nods, takes the photo, and says, "All right. If they want to sell me out, they better pray I don't buy in." Everyone knows what that means. Dwight's going on offense. He calls in favors from all over: old prison buddies, ex-associates from Kansas City, even a few dirty cops still loyal to him. One by one, they start rolling into Tulsa like shadows. The city's about to turn into a war zone, but not everyone's on board. Grace finally confronts Dwight that night, telling him this isn't the way. "You go to war now, you'll lose everything you built," she says. Dwight looks at her, calm but cold. "Grace, you don't understand. I already lost it." That line cuts deep. You can see it in her eyes. She realizes Dwight's too far gone to pull back. He's not fighting for power anymore. He's fighting for revenge. As the episode moves into its final stretch, tension reaches its breaking point. Joanne finally gets her proof. A text chain between Musso's handler and someone using a hidden number. She traces it back and finds out who's been leaking info to Musso this whole time. Her face drops when she sees the name Tyson. Turns out Musso got to him first, blackmailed him after catching him slipping months ago. He wasn't doing it for money. He was doing it to protect his mom. Joanne doesn't tell Dwight right away. She knows if he finds out now, Tyson won't live through the night. That night, Dwight meets with Mitch at the abandoned rail yard outside town. They're planning their counterstrike, hitting Musso's stash house before sunrise, burning everything to the ground. It's risky, but Dwight doesn't care. They think I'm the one running out of moves, he says, lighting another cigarette. But I've been saving my best one for last. The way he says it, calm and cold. You just know he means it. The camera cuts to Tyson sitting in his car nearby, watching from the shadows, guilt written all over his face. He's listening to their conversation through a bug Musso's crew planted. He looks torn, like part of him wants to come clean, but another part knows it's too late. As Dwight and Mitch shake hands and walk off, Tyson whispers to himself, I didn't mean for it to go this far, but by then, it already has. The episode closes with a chilling final shot. A black SUV pulls up outside Dwight's ranch while he's still at the rail yard. A man steps out, face covered, gun in hand. He looks around, then walks straight toward the porch. The camera pans to a vase of white flowers sitting on the table. The same ones Dwight said he'd bring to his own funeral. The screen cuts to black right before the door creaks open. That's how Episode 3 leaves us. No answers, no peace, just that deep, gut punch feeling that Tulsa's about to explode. And next week, it's not about who wins. It's about who's left standing.